Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to the Storytellers Guild. My name is Max. I know it's been a few weeks. I was suffering from a combination of identity crisis and imposter syndrome, and you'll notice the green screen is gone. I have a window actually right here behind my computer, and it's not a full blackout curtain, so the lighting was all wonky, and I didn't want to spend more money to get another light, and it was a whole thing. Anyway, I'm back, and I hope that my return shows you that the things that interfere with our ability to write, the things that happen in life that keep us from writing some days, don't have to keep us from writing forever, right? So let's dive right back into it. As always, I want to remind you that we are doing the most important thing when it comes to writing. We are actually sitting down to write. I've got a cup of liquid inspiration here. Whether you want tea or coffee or whatever, find something that you're comfortable enjoying as well, and let's get to it. If you would like to go back and rewatch the previous video, or just pause the video now to kind of like contextualize the work we're about to be doing, I encourage you to do that. And I want to remind you that creativity is not a gift, right? Creativity is a muscle. You exercise it. So we're here today to strengthen our muscles. So let's get started on that. So we'll start here. When last we ended the story, they were following another one of the staff in the Duke's house to get to the head of staff to interview her about what had happened, because she apparently has been on the site of the burglary the whole time. So, May nodded. Her hair, which was up in bobs. I want to get more descriptive. I was reading through some of my stuff, and I feel like I need to add a little bit more characterization, a little bit more color. We had some at the beginning, but I think we get caught up in the interactions. I get caught up in the interactions, and I lose those details. So I want to add that in just a little bit. And I'll do more of this sort of like editing as we go through it, but through the actual editing process. But for now, I just really want to keep the momentum going. So I'm only going to do this one last bit. Bounced as eagerly, bounced as enthusiastically as she did. Bounced as much as she did. Her hair, which was up in bobs, bounced in and wiggled with the same enthusiasm she did. All this excitement gives me a chance. So what I'm thinking about here is this is also a suspect, right? Like everyone you meet could be a suspect. And what I want for May is for her to be like the likely suspect because she is so cheerful and because she has a lot to gain from the situation, right? So all this excitement gives me a chance to get to show off my skills, both in keeping the household in order during a time of crisis, and in helping, facilitating, assisting. So she's assisting. This is like a formal thing for her, right? She's trying to stay formal. So, and in assisting ladies and gentlemen such as yourselves who are here to help His Lordship recover his precious items, precious possessions. Do you know what was stolen? Asked Duncan. Not exactly, said May. Stopping on the stairs. Grand staircase. But I I know I'm just reading this sentence and I don't like it, so I'm going to go bounced along with her head. Not exactly, said May, stepping on the grand staircase, but I know it was something precious. I want to help. Let's get you lot upstairs to the head of staff. I did not read far enough back to know who the head of staff is, so let's have a look. Ms. Olivia, there we go. That sounds lovely, agreed Duncan. How long have you worked for the Duke? In the Duke's household? Keeping the grounds. I just don't want to say household twice, so I realized I said household and I was like, that sounds familiar. Have I said that already? I went back up a couple paragraphs. I had, and I want to keep it like dynamic and interesting, so I want to make sure that I'm not being too redundant, especially because as a short story, there's not going to be that many words in it. I mean, to be fair, let's see how many words we have already. We already have like 2,200 words. That's already like 4 pages, right? It's amazing how fast words happen when you are sitting down and just like in the middle of a story sometimes. So we might have to speed things up a little bit down the road. We'll see. For now, it's important that we choose our words carefully and we don't spend too much time being too redundant, right? So, that sounds lovely, agreed Duncan. How long have you worked in the Duke's household? Only a month or so, answered May, taking them through a series of doorways, rooms and doors that made Duncan dizzy. Dizzy. I know how to spell, I promise. Made Duncan dizzy. Each one felt more glamorous and lavish than the last. The Duke certainly didn't cut corners when it came to decorating. There was lots of gold. And lots of pastel colors. Around lots of pastel. Pinks, purples, and blues. There's one. So, and then in terms of formatting, because he's noticing all this while she talks, I'm going to continue the paragraph in the same one, right? So she's still talking, which is great because this is exactly the sort of person that a detective would want to find at a scene, right? Lots of gold. And so she's going to keep gabbing a little bit, maybe give some background about the household, some of the people who live there. Pastel. I came from a lord's house across the way. Lord Arrington, pun intended, right? Because he aired. You may recall the catastrophe that befell his household. About a scandal, wasn't it? asked, oh my goodness, I can't even remember her name. Duncan's assistant, Quinn. My goodness, shame on me. See, that's what happens when you've been gone for a few weeks, but all you have to do is scroll up and look back at it, and then you're right back in the swing of things. It's not perfect. It's okay. It's happening. That's what's important. Asked Quinn, scratching her head with her pen and stretching her fingers. Oh yes, very grim, said May. Agreed, May, even though Quinn had not suggested anything grim had happened. Lost everything, he did. Lost everything. Poor man had to pack up and move back in with his parents in the country. How did you come to work here? Asked Duncan. Duncan is the one sort of keeping things on track, but he's also going to be the one who gets things wrong, right? So he's very attentive, he's very kind and empathetic, and spectacularly wrong. And so his ways of being wrong are going to be what eventually cause him to be right, but it's going to be like kind of circuitous. So we'll get there. How did you come to work here? Asked Duncan. Ms. Olivia recommended me, said May, beaming over her shoulder, because she's still leading them through the house, right? Here, please. She moved a painting, and they stepped into a small antechamber with a staircase, with a spiral staircase going straight up. The walls were all plain and off-white, a startling contrast from the luxury. So this is going to be like the servant staircase. I thought for a minute it might be one of the Duke's private staircases to get them up there, but not obviously, I decided I want it to be a servant staircase because I don't think May would show them the Duke's private ones. I think those would be like a secret. But the servants' quarters and the staff's quarters and the staff's arrangements and stuff are all pretty hidden. So, startling contrast from the vibrant rooms they had explored already. This the main staff stairwell? Asked Duncan. No, Duncan doesn't know stuff like that. He's intuitive, but he's not right a lot, right? So that's an interesting thing. One of the Duke's secret staircases. Oh no, sir. Laughed May. His are all just as luxurious as his rooms, and very, very private. I still don't know of any of them. This is the staff staircase. Goes right up through the center of the household. You mean we've only... And Quinn is going to help, like... Quinn, as, like, the new person on the scene, the new person in the department, is sort of like the fresh eyes on this world that the audience can, like, look through. You know, because she's going to be just as impressed as other people would, right? And that's what we want from this interaction, is we want her to help us feel sort of in awe of what otherwise, you know, to all these other people, it's very normal. And so by having her look at some of these things and react these ways, it helps to elevate the sense of wonder and the sense of excitement that's happening, right? So we've only crossed half the house, whispered Quinn. Bugger me. How far up are we going? Asked Duncan, trying to keep things on track. And maybe I'm doing that a little bit too. Top floor. 3rd floor. Announced May as they began their climb. Excellent, said Duncan. Now remind me how nice. First he's gonna be a little disarming, right? Nice to stretch my legs after that long coach ride up the rise, I guess. You were saying about Miss Olivia. Oh, she's wonderful, sir. Got me this job. She knew my sister back in boarding school days. They were about a lot closer in age. And they she knew my older sister. They go way back, but they are rarely in touch anymore. I gambled a bit thinking she'd remember me, but she fair jumped at the chance. Hire me. Said they'd been looking for some new blood. How delightful for you, chuckled Duncan, and lucky for the Duke. I hope so, sir, said May, leading them through the door into another anteroom. She pointed at one of several doors in the room. One of several doors, that's enough. You don't have to say in the room because it's a little redundant, right? And so what I'm going to do here is she's going to go fetch Miss Olivia, because Miss Olivia is like standing vigil in the Duke's room, right? So she's going to send them into another room to wait. And this both seems suspicious because they don't get introduced to Olivia immediately, and it also gives Duncan and Quinn a chance to talk one-on-one for the audience for the first time in the entire experience, right? So you can wait just through there. I'll fetch Miss Olivia to you. For everything, May. Well, said Duncan. You've been very helpful indeed. Curtsy. The young woman vanished behind another door. And we'll have to call it there because it's already been way past time. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for joining me at the Storytellers Guild. My name is Max. I look forward to the next episode where we will continue the story of Detective Duncan Watercolour in the case of the missing locket. Until next time, remember to keep writing. The world needs your stories. Bye.